What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. On this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you an artificial bait that you've probably heard of, but maybe you don't have the confidence to throw it. It's the wake bait, and it's become one of my favorite baits to throw for trout and redfish. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and smash that thumbs up button. Here we go. The wake bait has been popular for years with bass fishermen, like literally 50 years. In fact, my preferred wake bait so far is the KVD wake bait, which is the Kevin Van Dam brand, a world famous bass fisherman. One of my favorites is the orange and black one, which is very similar in color to the 808 mirror lure, a hugely popular bait for good reason. As you can see, the wake bait creates a ton of surface action just by straight retrieving it. The lure itself is a sound chamber that makes a loud clacking sound as it wobbles. If you speed up your retrieval, it drops below the surface but keeps the same action. You can cast it a mile. Typically, I don't throw a wake bait exclusively, but rather mix it in with other lures. For redfish, I might throw a spoon 75% of the day, but offering an alternative occasionally like a wake bait has been a great formula for me. I love topwater twitch baits for trout and redfish, but on some days the wake bait actually outperforms topwater baits. I think sometimes they prefer a lure just under the surface instead of on top. And don't forget, the sound of a wake bait, just like a topwater knocker or a pop and cork, will draw fish in from long distances. I've had a ton of hits very close to the boat, so if you're in a fishy area, don't give up on your cast too early. Recently I discovered that Yo-Zuri makes a saltwater wake bait, so of course I wanted to try it out. The profile is slimmer and the bait itself feels lighter in weight than the KVD. First thing I noticed about the Yo-Zuri was that it doesn't create as much surface action as the KVD. The second thing I noticed was that it's not as loud as the KVD. So overall, it's a much more subtle bait. For my first 5 or 6 casts, I worked it back slowly on the surface, rod tip up, barely reeling. I never got a strike. Feeling fairly certain there was redfish in this zone in front of me, I decided to stick with the Yo-Zuri, but this time swim at subsurface. Rod tip lower, faster retrieval. This put the bait 6 inches to a foot underwater. Apparently that's the presentation they wanted because I hooked up on the first cast. The night before this trip was a full moon, so honestly I didn't know if I'd get any hits at all on this trip. Redfish and trout especially will feed all night on a full moon with a clear sky and can often not feed the following day, at least not aggressively, which is probably why I got no hits on the surface. And now I'm throwing the same wake bait, same cast zone, just dropping it down under the surface and I'm hooking up. 2 casts later, same thing. This was a nice fish, but unfortunately the hooks pulled at the end. But now I've got more confidence that at least I know what presentation is resulting in strikes. Fortunately, I get another shot at a real nice fish. This time I close the deal. Let's see if I can land this one. Yeah, it's a nice fish. And it looks like he is barely hooked. So at this point, the KVD wake bait Pro Gold color is by far my favorite. You can throw it in any condition, and obviously, as you can see, most of the paint has been knocked off of it. They love it. The KVD Sexy Shad was a great color recently on the Outer Banks with clearer water conditions. It did a great job. And more than once, I hooked fish when my buddies threw spoons and didn't get a strike. The Yo-Zuri 3D Inshore surface minnow left me wanting a little more. I think in light wind, this might be a great bait. I look forward to trying it again. Drop a comment below and let me know if you've had any luck with saltwater wake baits and maybe know of another one I should try. As always, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you on the next one.